I have two more of the president's wives for you today, although one of them is not a wife. I hope you'll stay tuned and enjoy this video. We are on the 7th president of the United States. And this is one, when I looked at the picture, I thought, who's that lady? Did you get a hint? I didn't, till I read it, or a little bit of it. Now, okay, Emily Tennessee Donaldson. She served as First Lady during the term of her uncle, Andrew Jackson. He was the 7th President of the United States. Rachel Jackson died of a heart attack a few months before her husband's inauguration. Just before she died, she asked her nephew's wife to take her place as official hostess. Emily Donaldson was a sweet and unsophisticated young woman, and she found herself as First Lady of the White House. Now we're talking about President Jackson's wife. Rachel Jackson had not been happy contemplating moving to Washington when her husband became president. Hoping to make his wife more comfortable, President Jackson planned to bring Emily and her husband, Andrew, to the White House. Andrew became the private secretary. Emily had never traveled far from her native Tennessee. She had had little education. She rose to the task of the president's hostess. White House visitors were soon praising Emily's pleasant and simple ways, and her dinner parties were a splendid affair. Emily gave birth to 4 children in the White House. Between Donaldson's children and the numerous visiting relatives, the executive mansion was bursting. The president loved the happy sounds of the children and could often be found holding a sleeping baby or playing with the toddlers. Then Emily, who had been frail all her life, became ill with tuberculosis. She left the White House and returned to Tennessee in 1836, and she died a few months later. Okay, that was the surprise to me. Now the next one is the 8th president, and I recognize this name, the last name, Angelica Singleton Van Buren. She served as the First Lady during the term of her father-in-law, Martin Van Buren's 8th president. He was the 8th president of the United States. Here's the story. Dolly Madison, still the queen of Washington society, realized that a woman was badly needed in the White House when President Van Buren moved in with his 4 bachelor sons. Many people in Washington were dismayed at the social hub of the nation was in the hands of 5 unmarried men. The atmosphere of the executive mansion was somewhat dull and austere. Simple dinners were the only entertainment. The indomitable Dolly introduced young Angelica Singleton, a cousin from South Carolina, to the president and his sons. Angelica was pretty, energetic, and had perfect manners. A sweet Southern belle. Abraham, the president's oldest son, was quite taken with her, and she was with him, and Angelica and Abraham married in 1838. The president was thrilled and relieved and wasted no time installing Angelica as White House hostess. During the European honeymoon in 1839, Angelica met the young Queen Victoria of England. Angelica had promoted the fashion of the hoop skirts, being one of the first to wear them in the country. Her attempt to infuse European customs into the formal entertaining failed after years of easy country ways in Jackson's White House. But with Dolly Madison's help, Angelica was soon giving lively parties. Everyone admired the new young woman in the White House. Although she had girlish modesty, she was charming and vivacious and made her guests feel at ease. Angelica and Abraham, who became the father's secretary, lived happily in the White House. A baby girl was born there, but died after birth. After the president's term ended, Angelica and her husband traveled to Europe, lived for a time in the native South Carolina, and they made their home in New York, where Angelica died in 1878. There you have it. 2 stories, different than the normal ones we've been reading. I hope you enjoyed that. There's so many of this I didn't know, and I'm sure maybe some of you did. You might have followed it along better than I did. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget, check back on my playlist. I have something going all the time. My cooking at the piano, on my lives on Sundays, and all kinds of things. My grocery hauls. You never know what you're going to see here. It's like Miss Brenda at Maniac Grandma used to say, you never know what you're going to see here, and that's so true. Hope your day is fantastic. Don't forget, Jesus loves you today. I'll see you tomorrow. Come join me today for my live at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for gospel music, hymns,